fellow podcast, Rocky Series podcast listeners. This is your host, Ryan, and I'm flying solo right now. The reason why I'm flying solo is because everyone's schedule is so crazy and so out of whack. I'm busy with a family. All my fellow guest co-hosts are busy with families and work and jobs. And my brother Ruben, the co-founder and co-host of this podcast, as we said, we live 3 time zones apart, and he works 6 days a week easily, sometimes 7. He's available when it's like 10 o'clock my time at night. So it just makes for recording difficult, because sometimes when we do record it together, I'm exhausted by 10 o'clock at night. I don't know about you guys, but we also want to get content out there to our listeners. Ruben and I do have another podcast called The Worst of the Best Podcast. I know there's like 90% of you guys who listen to this podcast don't listen to the other one. Like, come on. It's a great podcast. And I know you guys are Rocky and Stallone fans, and that's amazing. So thank you for listening to this show. But come on, if you like the cut of our jib, Ruben and I, check out our other podcast called The Worst of the Best Podcast. We do a variety of topics there. Maybe not every topic is your cup of tea, but we talk about celebrities, food, music, movies, you name it. And each week, or each release, it's not always every week, each release is a new topic. So check it out, The Worst of the Best Podcast. And for this one, if you haven't already, or for The Worst of the Best Podcast listeners, leave us a review on iTunes or on our Facebook pages, wherever we are found. But again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching and or listening to our show. So I think I'm just going to keep going through Rocky 5 and just talking about Rocky 5. So here we go. Oh, last thing. We are officially on Skype. I remember I advertised earlier that people could add me on Skype just by putting my first and last name to Skype. Don't do that. I mean, you can, but we've created a Skype, what do you call it, channel or Skype account. We've created a Rocky Series podcast Skype that you can call in anytime. So I've put it out there right now on Facebook and Twitter. Maybe some of you listeners saw that I did that. For anyone to call in, I'm recording live. And if somebody wants to call in on Skype, I'll take your calls. And every now and then, maybe I'll do this. Maybe this will be one way to enhance the show. Maybe nobody will call in. I might get some nutcases, but live on the air, you'll get to hear somebody call in. Chances are it's 11 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. I doubt anyone's going to call in right now, but you never know. Some nutcase or somebody who's not a nutcase might call in the middle of my recording. We're just going to see how this goes. We're going to see if this even works or if anyone cares or what have you. Without further ado, why don't we just get into... Well, you know what? Actually, before we start talking about Rocky 5 or continue our Rocky 5 discussion, I saw Joker a couple days ago. And you're wondering, well, Ryan, why are you bringing up Joker? Why are you talking about Joker on a Rocky podcast? Well, to be fair, Ruben and I and our other guest hosts, we've talked about a variety of stuff on this show for no apparent reason. We just talk about stuff. But the reason why I'm talking about the Joker is because, how should I say this? This isn't the crap on Stallone and his movies or any celebrity for that matter, but I'm a huge Stallone fan. I really, really am. Like I've enjoyed his movies for decades, and I've enjoyed his movies more than I've enjoyed Joaquin Phoenix or Todd Phillips, director of the Joker, their movies throughout the years. I've been a Stallone fan since I was a kid, right? But what the Joker showed me, that movie, was how good a movie can be when written correctly, when you have the right soundtrack, when you have the right acting, the right characters, or just all the right stuff. Now, Todd Phillips was just a comedic type director, and Joaquin Phoenix, we know, is a great dramatic actor, right? But he did something more with this film that I can't even, describe. So if you haven't seen The Joker, go see it. I'm not going to give any spoilers here. I guess what I'm kind of getting at, after seeing a movie like The Joker, it's hard to watch another movie for a while because you realize just how good a movie can be. For better or for worse, that movie has spoiled us on what we can expect from movies, if that makes sense. Because it's out there. The potential is out there. Now, we're talking about Rocky 5. I guess it's just... this is 2019. This movie came out in 1990. I know this is part of the Rocky franchise, and that's what we're, reacting or talking to. We're speaking to the film, a Rocky 5. But it's just insane to me how frustrating it can be as a Stallone fan. I would just love to see him in a movie like that was written and directed with such talent that he happened to be in. I was really hoping he would get into a Quentin Tarantino film one day. Because at the end of the day, the writers and the directors make a lot they can really carry a film. Now, the actors, of course, right? But if you're given a bad script and the filming, the cinematography is wrong, you just got to go see The Joker. You know what I'm talking about. So Joaquin Phoenix, yes, did an amazing job. And I don't think he can ever be topped. I think he did a better job than anyone else has ever done in this character. On top of that, it was the score, the cinematography, the directing. And I would just love to see Stallone in a film that has those kind of talents around him. He's not a thespian in the way Joaquin Phoenix is when it comes to acting, but that's what I'm getting at. But you surround him by that kind of like talent too. You'll just see, it would just be so much fun to see Stallone in a film that showcase so much more that we know that he can give. Anyways, all right, you ready to talk about Rocky 5? Let's see if anyone's responding to my Skype thing here. No. Okay. Where we last left off was Rocky and Adrian had that great heart-to-heart out in the street. A great scene by Talia Shire. And, Rocky's like, it's always been me and you. We're the family. It's always been me and you, right? Okay. Now, the next scene starts off with Rocky Jr. So this is the same evening when he told his mom that he's going out. And Adrian goes, well, when are you coming back? And he says, later. So we see him hanging out at the hoagie sandwich shop. And he's smoking. He's a bad boy now. So he's smoking, Chicky's pal. I don't know if he's smoking. I think they're all smoking. Let's see what their conversation is like here.
I don't know about you guys, but I gotta get out of here.
Looks like they're all smoking. They all have cigarettes in their hands. And Rocky Jr. Robert says, I don't know about you guys, but I gotta get out of here. So he's acting all tough, saying that he has to leave this little loitering outside the hoagie shop. He's got to go home for a curfew. It's funny how he's worried about going home, I guess. He just says he has to get out of here. And they don't really pay attention to him leaving. Takes the last puff on his cigarette.
Hey, what do you say we go to the shore, huh?
Yeah, let's go. Oh, yeah, great. How are we going to get there?
Oh, my bad. He right away suggests. So okay, this is really confusing. So he goes from saying, I don't know about you guys, but I got to get out of here. So maybe he doesn't like to hang out the corner outside the hoagie sandwich shop. And now he's like, why don't we go to the shore? Which I guess is probably a beach area near Philly maybe, or something close to a lake or body of water. And they're like, well, how are we going to get there? And just around the corner, we see Rocky coming, looking for his kid. Where's the kid? I don't see the kid.
How are we gonna get there? We throw our thumbs in the air, we'll hitchhike.
Hey, yo.
So Chicky suggests that they hitchhike. I wouldn't hitchhike if I were you guys, but mind you, if there's 4 of you together, go for a hitchhike. But Rocky comes to save the day just before they take off for the evening.
What's he want?
You want me to stay with you?
No. You're right, I got enough problems with my old man. Come on.
You ain't gonna hit him, are you?
No, you gonna hit him.
Well, first Chicky says, yeah, we're not going to stick around if you don't need us. I've got enough problems with my old man anyways. So they all leave, and Jewel goes, are you going to hit him? And Rocky's like, no, man, I'm not going to hit this kid. And it kind of gives you an idea of what family backgrounds these kids do have. I mean, Chicky's obviously got problems with his old man. I would assume there's probably violence in the home. And Jewel, same thing. Like, she figures that Robert's going to get hit or beat. And we know that Rocky would never do that, other than to people in the ring.
Yo, kid, when you start smoking?
I don't know, didn't you ever smoke?
Yeah, I done a lot of bad things, you know.
So it's a good argument. This is a problem when parents are, I wouldn't say hypocrites, but look, we're all human. And parents make mistakes. I make mistakes. I have kids. And your hope as a parent, of course, is that they don't make the same mistakes that you make. Because there's no point in that, to revisit those mistakes or to recreate them. Rocky's like, you know, when did you start smoking? He probably just started smoking. He probably just started smoking this evening, I bet. But that's a good argument a kid will have back. It's like, well, what about you? You know, don't you smoke, or didn't you start smoking? And we saw Rocky smoking in this film. So Rocky himself retook up smoking when he went back to the hood. But Rocky's response is legit. You know, I've done a lot of bad things.
So
I wised up.
okay, so maybe I'll wise up someday too.
Maybe tonight's a good night for both of us to start this wising up thing.
Hey, don't worry about it.
I gotta worry about it. I mean, the deal was we were supposed to be tight, right?
So Rocky's putting out an olive branch here saying, you know, maybe tonight we should all wise up. Maybe tonight we start making changes. And Rocky Jr., Robert, he actually threw the cigarette on the ground. And you could tell that he wasn't really that invested in the cigarette. That was more of a show, probably in front of his friends. And now that his dad's here, he doesn't want to smoke in front of his dad.
What about Tommy? You tight with him too, huh?
I love how Robert's got that gang talk, sort of that slang in his voice, or I don't know how that accent in his voice, where he's a little bit street tough now.
Tommy.
So Robert asks Rock, aren't you tight with Tommy? And it really kind of hit Rocky there, because just moments before, Tommy took off with that redheaded bimbo, and off they went to the night. It didn't end well, just moments before this, so no, he's not tight with Tommy. So not only has Tommy and Rocky's relationship gone out the window, here's Rocky trying to mend his relationship with his son because of Tommy. Tommy was a big rift that created a rift between Rocky and his son. So right now, Rocky's in the middle of no man's land. He doesn't have his son's support and his love, or at least his support or adoration, and he's lost Tommy, his protege.
Yeah, well, that was yesterday, you know. You know, kid, do you remember you telling me a long time ago about deceptions, and I was talking about scams, and I should have listened to you. I was trying to teach you, all right? But you were teaching me, and I didn't wise up, and I didn't know, and I made mistakes, and I do things, you know, it bothers me, you know, I forget a lot of things, and I just...
So Rocky continues with his olive branch to his son, saying that he forgets things, that he should have listened to his son about deceptions and scams himself, that, he's starting to see Robert's journey through all this through his eyes, and he understands that he's fallen short as a father. But he does kind of mention that he forgets things. There's probably some brain damage or head injury issues that Rocky does suffer in the film. Sorry, not in the film, but in the story, that Rocky himself does actually suffer from stuff. And Rocky does a really weird, and I remember thinking this was kind of weird back even in 1990, but he goes in for, to kiss his son on the ear or cheek, or, like as a sign of affection. Like, his son is 14 in the film, 13 to 15, whatever the age is. We don't know what the age, whatever the age is. But I always thought it was an odd gesture on Rocky's part to go in for a kiss. I have a 19-year-old son, a 21-year-old son, but I stopped kissing them on the cheek a long time ago, and I guarantee I wasn't doing it when they were teenagers, or 12, or 8, maybe 7, 6. So I don't know what the age is, but I guess cultures are different. Like maybe the Italian culture is a little bit more kissy. But to me, there's an age where you stop kind of like kissing your kids. I don't know what it is. Like I said, it's cultural, but where I'm from or how I'm raised or whatever it is, I don't think I would have gone in for a kiss. And Robert does pull away from it when Rocky goes in to kiss him, to console him. I would have put my hand on his shoulder, put my arm around him, tell him I love him, something like that, of course. But I don't know, a kiss is a little bit much. All right. So the lines are open, folks. Call in. I've had some people like the Twitter announcement. I want to give a shout out to Greg Arnold, who liked that on Twitter. Thanks, buddy. I see that you like the... Call in, Greg. I mean, you can't hear me telling you, but he's probably listening to this episode. Greg is somebody who has written me many, many times in emails and has a lot of great things to say about the show. So, Greg, if you're listening to this episode, you didn't call in, this is a great opportunity for you to call in on the air and say, hey, man. Greg, great commenter via emails, anyways, regarding the show. So thank you, Greg. A little shout out to Greg Arnold. Follow Greg on Twitter at Fear the Noodle. That's Fear the Noodle. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but...
I know I made a few mistakes, but I would love to hang out with you again. Just you and me. I swear to God, it's just gonna be you and me this time.
Home team?
Yeah. Home team. Hey, kid, you want to hear a joke?
All right, so that's a real touching moment. We were all, of course, very happy that Robert has forgiven his father, and he could see the real sincerity and pain in Rocky's eyes there, where he's like, this time it's just going to be you and me. And we kind of know that because Tommy's left for good. Fine, that's life. We can only see what's in front of us, and Rocky, now he sees what's in front of him. He sees that it's Rocky Jr., his son. That's what's important. He doesn't want to lose his son, doesn't want to lose his family. Rocky Jr. breaks through his tough guy act and says, home team. And he becomes kind of a kid again in that moment where the toughness and the cigarette smoking and all goes to the wayside. And Rocky sees it too. And he's like, yeah, home team. And now that everything's back to normal, he's got his arm around his kid. They're walking down the street. And Rocky wants to tell a joke to his son. And his son's like, ugh, here we go. Yeah, sure, why not? Here, let's hear a joke there, old man.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Tuna fish.
Tuna fish, who?
You can tune a piano, but you cannot tune a fish.
Well, you're getting better.
That's actually not a bad joke. That's a good old man joke, or dad joke, I should say. And I've actually told that joke throughout my life. I've told a few Rocky jokes throughout my life from the films. I have healthily stole Rocky jokes. When people ask me, like, oh, Ryan, why did you join the military? I'll say, because I can't sing or dance. And two things will happen. They'll laugh at my clever response, or they'll say, hey, I know the Rocky show too. Usually it's they just laugh at my clever response. You got to be a pretty big Rocky fan to get that response.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, so the next scene, again, we don't know how much time has passed. It could have been months, it could have been days, but now we have the big scene here where Kane and Tommy are going to have a fight. The title fight.
All right, folks, lock the door and hide kids. It's time to wage war.
Tommy Gunn has been said to be such a student of Rocky Balboa's style, he's been nicknamed by the press the Clone Ranger.
I love these nicknames. He's been nicknamed the Clone Ranger because he fights just like Rocky fought, and he was Rocky's student. I wonder why the media is so hard on Tommy. There's, again, because in the world of the movie, Tommy hasn't done anything that the media should pick up on that makes him an unlikable person. We as a viewer are getting a kick out of these nicknames, but we haven't really seen anything in the film that would indicate that the general public would have anything bad to think of Tommy. So the scene now shows Rocky. He's down in the basement, and that's where the TV, I guess, is being where the TV is for the family, or maybe they have two TVs. I assume Paulie has a TV in his room. I bet they're watching the fight, and though Rocky's no longer the trainer or part of the Gunn team, you got to imagine he's still invested to some degree of seeing how this fight plays out. I would be too. And it is the heavyweight championship fight of the world, and so boxing, of course, 1990 was pretty big back then, and a lot of people were watching this. The crowd's a big crowd; they're all excited. Here we go: Union Kane versus Tommy Gunn. I wonder how this fight's gonna pan out. Remember, lines are open. Lines are open. Still waiting for my first Skype call live on the air. Anyone gonna call? Hello, Greg? You calling? Lines are open. Call in on Skype. You never know; somebody might call. Well, no one's calling. Let's continue. So, here we go. Let's check out how this fight pans out.
In the red corner.
Relax, Rocco. He ain't worth the stress.
Yeah, ain't him, boy.
Turbocharged. Tommy the Machine Gunn.
So we have George Washington Duke announcing Tommy, the fighter. Now, is that common that for the promoter to make the announcements live on the air and to the crowd? I don't know. I don't watch enough of these boxing matches, but I know it's played to the movie. But the idea that it'd be like Don King, did he step in the ring and announce the fighters back in the day? Maybe.
Boy, it looks like the fans are unhappy with Tommy Gunn for leaving Rocky Balboa behind.
Yeah, of course. He's nobody's sweetheart, that kid.
So the announcers do say that the fans. So we have the fans booing Tommy.
Boy, it looks like the fans are unhappy with Tommy Gunn for leaving Rocky Balboa behind.
Yeah, of course. He's nobody's sweetheart, that kid.
So the crowd is booing Tommy. They got wind of Tommy firing Rocky as the trainer, and Rocky's so loved by the public, of course, that Tommy's now, in the public's eyes, kind of a bad guy. Or, I mean, that's fair. I wonder what the story was that Tommy's team told the public why they got rid of Rocky, but the crowd isn't happy about it, and so they're there to cheer for Kane over Tommy. Paulie has something to say about that as well after the announcer's comment.
Yeah, of course. He's nobody's sweetheart, that kid.
So Paulie says he's nobody's sweetheart, that kid.
242 very impressive pounds. The present world heavyweight champion, Union Kane.
So Duke continues with the announcement within the ring and now announcing Union Kane, which is, of course, you would think this would be a conflict of interest. You have the challenger who's in George Washington Duke's pocket and Union Kane who's also on his team or in his pocket. But here we go. He's the present world heavyweight champion. He's 242 pounds, Union Kane. That's crazy. I remember in Rocky 3, wasn't Rocky like 198 pounds or something? Rocky makes the comment to Paulie, it looks like Union Kane's in great shape. And Paulie gets all excited because he's hoping that Union Kane destroys Tommy in the ring.
Looks like he's in great shape, don't he, Paulie?
Robert comes down the stairs into the basement. He's got his artist pad out, and he's going to draw some art. And we'll see later what that art piece is after he's done drawing. So Rocky makes mention to Paulie that Tommy looks nervous, he looks a little tight, and Paulie just keeps getting excited in the chair, smoking a cigar, again hoping that Tommy gets the ass whooping that Paulie feels that he deserves.
The referee, Cappuccino, calling both fighters to the center.
Come on, Tommy, he's a little tight. He's nervous, Is it like the way I felt when I was fighting with Apollo,
Rocco, he ain't you. He never was that kid.
Hey, come on, give him a break, would you?
And Rocky's still kind of showing some kindness towards Tommy here in general. It's weird. And we'll see as this fight goes on that Rocky continues to support or channel his wanting Tommy to maybe do well, despite what Tommy's put his family through. Rocky's family. So Rocky's shouting out advice like he would have done had he been in the corner at the fight. And he's feeling frustrated already that the fight's just started, and Rocky's one to say, he's getting hit by everything except for the ring post. No offense to Rocky, but that's been Rocky's whole way of fighting throughout his life, was taking all the hits to the head.
All right, come on, Tommy, do what you was told. In and out, side to side, don't eat the jab. Up the ropes, what are you, blind? You're getting hit with everything but the ring post.
Come on, Kane, let's rumble. Go for it, Kane.
Come
He's
on,
free.
Tommy, what's the matter with your cake? That's it!
And, of course, Paulie is cheering on Kane. Come on, Kane, let's rumble. Go for it, Kane. And now Tommy comes back with some attacks. And that's a great little scene. I know you guys can't see it with the audio podcast, but those who know Rocky 5 know well, there's that scene where Rocky punches the punching bag that's next to Paulie's ear.
That's it!
And it startles Paulie. It's a great little sequence there where Rocky says, "That's it, Tommy, you're hitting," and then Rocky goes in for the swing and hits the punching bag. It hits it so hard that it startles Paulie, kind of showing still the power that Rocky has at his tender age of 47. So Rocky continues to give advice to Tommy, and Rocky's channeling his fighting style with Tommy's, kind of the metaphor of Rocky hits the punching bag as Tommy hits the opponent. And now we got Adrian coming down to join this family gathering of this championship fight.
That's it! Slip the jab, move that, side to side, back and forth like a metrodome.
Slip side, side.
That's it! You see what? He remembers everything.
So Rocky's getting excited that Tommy is remembering his training, and he gets excited, he gets kind of caught up in the moment, and it saddens Adrian to see Rocky still showing kind of that adoration for Tommy and his journey. She just wants Rocky to let it go.
Hey, come on, Tommy. I'm in there, man. Do what I'm doing. Back and forth. Side to side. That's it. Yep. Come on, kid. Don't let him up. Don't let him off me. Roll.
So Union King takes some punishing blows, as you can hear, and as you remember with this movie, takes some punishing blows from Tommy. And again, throughout that sequence, we have Rocky mimicking what he would do to his opponent had he been in the ring. So again, the student and the teacher are in sync with each other during this moment. Union King goes down, and Rocky's legitimately excited, and nobody else in the basement is excited with him. Rocky's alone in that excitement.
Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're up.
Heavyweight champion, Tommy.
Rocky's like legitimately excited. He's almost more excited about Tommy's victory than Rocky was when he won the belt. And nobody else, again, is excited for this. Paulie's face says it all, like, oof. And Paulie looks at Adrian and kind of like, what should I say? And Adrian kind of shakes her head like, don't say anything. Just let him be excited for this. So he's won the belt. And none for the worse wear. He only took a couple shots. He did most of the damage. First round knockout by the new champion, Tommy Machine Gun. The reporter's like, how do you feel?
Congratulations, a sensational upset victory. And you're now the champion of the world. How do you feel?
Never better. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with these people, but...
Because you're not a champion, you're a crumb bug dirtbag.
Man, come on, Paul, give him a break. Do something wonderful.
And Tommy right away is like, I don't know what these people's problems are. I don't know why they're booing me. Well, Rocky tried to warn you, Tommy. If you want to be the champion, you might hold the belt, but you're not the people's champion. So Rocky's living this moment. And it's really sad to see him so caught up. He's like, he's done something wonderful. And you're right, holding the championship of the world is a wonderful thing, but as we know, Tommy went by it the wrong way. And Rocky, as much as he's trying to salvage this moment. So of course we're watching this. I remember when I first saw this part of the film in the theater, I thought, oh, maybe he will acknowledge Rocky. Maybe he will, but I should have known better.
I'd like to say thank you. I'd like to thank the man who made this happen. And I'd like to thank the man who made me believe that all this could happen. The man who's been like an angel on my shoulder. Mr. George, what's that Duke?
And there you have it, a new champion of the world, Tommy the Machine Gun. Boy, I'll tell you, a big surprise, at least to me, that the new champion thanked Duke instead of the guy that got him. This crowd is unhappy, and the only person who really profits out of this upset victory is not.
So even the reporters say, boy, it's a surprise to us that he thanked Duke instead of the guy, Rocky, that got him here to this point. Kind of spelling it out for the movie audience as well. It stung Rocky. He's a little bit punchy, but he's not a moron. He's not an idiot. But he's such a nice guy that even here he doesn't say anything about not being thanked. It hurts him. You can see that it affects him, but he just takes it in stride. And the crowd continues to cheer Rocky's name. So Paulie tries to end this awkward situation and just turns off the TV.
Rocco, too much TV is bad for your eyes.
No, my eyes okay, Paul.
Too much TV is bad for my ears.
Yeah.
So the picture that Robert sketched in that short time was a stencil or pencil drawing of Paulie and Rocky watching the fight together.
Hey, that's like a good fight, huh?
It's okay, Dad. You're the real champ around here. I made this for you.
Oh, yeah? Beautiful.
Rocco, let's put our teeth around a few brews, okay? I can use the company.
Yeah, good idea.
I love that little moment there of Paulie or Burt Young's acting about wanting to get a couple brews wrapped around their teeth, or wrap their teeth around a couple brews, I should say. And the way he does his little mannerisms, again, that's a visual experience that you'll have to see and watch to get what I'm talking about. But Paulie's like, hey, the best way to... And he's holding some rum or vodka in his hand already, but he's inviting Rocky to go to the bar and have a couple drinks. And Adrian supports that, telling Rocky, get out of the house, get your mind off this fight. So Rocky's still trying to, like, is it maybe he's a little bit embarrassed or feels a little bit, I don't know. Still trying to salvage this fight, and Adrian just doesn't want anything to do with it. She's like, yeah, it was something, all right.
Wow, what a fight. It
Yeah.
was something.
Something.
Jeez.
I told you you could give him everything, but you can't give him your heart.
Oh, it's okay, Adrian. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Hey, kid, don't you stay up too late, okay? That was so funny.
Are you okay?
I won't be out too late.
Okay.
See you, champ.
Yeah. Have a good time with Uncle Paulie.
Yeah.
Nobody called into the show. That's really disappointing. I think we'll stop it there because the next scene that's coming up is the press conference scene. I'm hoping to have a guest host for that. Hopefully we're having Ruben. Ruben and I are talking about recording again for the Rocky Series podcast. For our listeners who stuck through, who are going the distance, I want to thank you guys for listening. To all of my guest co-hosts who have come on the show throughout the months or years, thank you guys for coming on the show. Ruben, he misses coming on the show. It's just a question of time, my friends. If anyone out there that's listening that runs a podcast, you know what it's like to get people together to record. And today was just an example of I wanted to get something out there for you listeners. I opened up the Skype line. Nobody called in live. I apologize. Well, I don't apologize, but I'm sorry that nobody called in. If you want to join the conversation on Skype, you can add the show to your Skype contacts, Rocky Series Podcast. We're the only one there. Give us an ad and call anytime. And if we don't answer, just leave a message. And that's we'll play your message on the air. So if you want to thank us for the show, any comments you have about the show, about the movie, about Stallone, we'll play your message on the next recording. Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks for listening. So that was our breakdown today, the continued adventures of Rocky and Rocky Part 5. And the next scene that we'll be covering is the press conference after the fight, which will, of course, will lead into the final moments of the movie. So I think we probably at least have 2 more episodes left regarding Rocky 5. Are you guys sick of my voice? All right. Well, hopefully I don't lose a lot of listeners just having me talk. Leave your comments below on Facebook or on Twitter under this episode. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Ding. Ding.
Thank you.